So next we are going to discuss about the P2P cycle. So before going to P2P cycle, what is a P2P cycle? Normally it is a procure to pay cycle. So whenever we are procuring some material, so from the procurement starting to the payment, we are having one cycle. So this is coming like every time. So in a business or in a, let's say in a plant, so it will be not like a single time, one time process will end. It will process will continue again and again, right? So you will need the material, you need to send the like purchase order to the vendor, and you need to buy the product, and they need to send the product, and again you have to pay them the bill. And again, whenever you are having the requirement, you have to follow the same process again and again. So that's why it is a cycle. That's why we call it a P2P cycle. Okay, procure to pay cycle, because it is like it works in a cyclic process. Okay, so before going to the P2P cycle, let's understand how one first concept there is a PR concept. Okay, PR means purchase requisition. So let's see. So let's see purchase requisition. Okay, or PR. So what is a purchase requisition?
It is a indent for required material.
Right. So it is a Indian, or it is a requisition. Like whenever you require a material, there will be one requisition will be developed. So we call it a purchase requisition. So definitely how the purchase requisition will generate. So that process we need to understand also, right? So let's take an example. I think my
Sure.
I think my handwriting is okay. You can be means you are able to follow it, right? So let's take an example. Okay, let's say one manufacturing plant is there. Okay, let's say one manufacturing plant is there, and that manufacturing plant will be having some, let's say, vendor or supplier, right? So let's take an example of iPhone. Okay, so iPhone is a manufacturer. He manufactures the iPhone, right? So there will be some stores, okay, or retail stores. They need this iPhone, right? So whenever they need some iPhone, they will send a purchase order to manufacturing company to iPhone. Okay, so let's say customer, this is a stores or retail, these are the customer, right? These are the customer of iPhone manufacturer, or let's say Apple. Okay, Apple company, they are having the stores or retail people are there, they are the customer of Apple company. So whenever they need some material or they need some iPhone, let's say one iPhone 14 has been manufactured, now the customer, they need the iPhone 14. So now whenever the requirement will be coming for these stores, they will provide one purchase order, to iPhone manufacturer, right? Right. So whenever this Apple manufacturing company, we don't have like, so right now we are not discussing on this part. This is a customer part. We are the Apple manufacturer, or we are the, let's say, iPhone manufacturer. We are the Apple company. Okay, we will be understanding from the perspective of manufacturing company, not from the perspective of your customer. Okay, so right now let's say you have received one purchase order. So customer will send the purchase order. Okay, so the purchase order, when it comes to the manufacturing company, it will become as a sales order. Okay, because Apple is selling the iPhone, right? Because you are selling the iPhone, so that will become a sales order or a requirement, right? So from the sales order, here they will be looking in the, there will be some stores will be there. stores will be there. So there they will be, system will be looking for, system or the people will be looking for in the store if any iPhone 14 is available right away. Okay, so if that is available, right, so if that is available, directly you can send the material, or you can goods issue, do the goods issue, you can issue the material directly to the customer. Let's say you are not having the product in your warehouse. Okay, let's say you are not having the product in the warehouse, and you need the, let's say 100 pieces of iPhone, you need 100 piece of iPhone you need to manufacture. So to manufacture this 100 piece of item, you need some components for that. Let's say you need an metal body, you need an screen, you need an let's say motherboard. Okay, so you will be needing these kind of material, or these kind of, let's say, semi-finished material or raw material to manufacture a iPhone. Okay, so now let's say whenever you are searching in the store and you didn't find the finished material or iPhone, then what you decide, you need to produce the material, or you need to manufacture the material. To manufacture the material, you need to have these kind of material, or these material you need to have to produce the material, right? So now again you have to go to the store. So let's say this is a finished good store, FG store, this is a raw material store. Okay, so first you have checked in the finished material store, you don't have any finished material. So now you have gone to the raw material store. Now let's say you don't have the raw material also, no raw material. Okay, now let's say you don't have any raw materials. So to produce this iPhone, you need this raw material, right? So now if I say there is no raw material, now what you need to do, you need to have a purchase requisition, right? Purchase requisition for raw material. Understood? Able to follow this part, or any doubt?
Purchase requisition. This part is from the Apple side
Yes.
with this example, and this will be purchase requisition from Apple side to any, और फिर ये जो चीज होगी वो दूसरी कंपनी के लिए सेल्स ऑर्डर के तौर पे एक्ट करेगी.
Yes, this will be a sales order for the vendor,
For and
from
yes,
whom where you are going to
A,
give the purchase order
ABC.
for. Yes, for purchase order. Likewise, like whatever we have seen from here, let's say now iPhone is the customer over here, they need this product from some other manufacturing company, right? So but we are just understanding the process on the prospect of manufacturing company from the iPhone perspective. Okay, so whenever iPhone is
Yes,
need to sell or need to manufacture some product, they don't have the raw material, so now they will be going for
fine.
a, like, there will be a PR and there will be a next let's say PR to PO or any other things, that is a next process. Understood this one, right? So let's say this is first scenario. So for a manufacturing order, or for a let's say production order, so whenever you are going for a, like, you don't have the end product, you are going for a production order creation, right? So whenever you are going for a production order creation, then you see there is no raw material, then from the production department you will be receiving one PR, right? You will be receiving the product, you will be receiving the PR from the production department, right? Understood? Okay, so let's say in a next scenario, let's say you are having one let's say trading plant. Okay, trading plant. What do you mean by trading plant? Trading plant means they don't have any manufacturing unit, they don't manufacture anything, they just store the material in the storage location or in the warehouse, they will store the material. Okay, and they will sell the material. So they will purchase and they will sell. Okay, so this is the process. They will purchase and they will sell. So at that point of time, let's say they will be whatever we have discussed in the first scenario. So for the stock purpose, let's say they will be storing, like, let's take an example here. Let's take an example of, this is a trading company, means this is a FMCG plant, fast moving consumer goods. Okay, so here let's say there will be some soaps will be there, some shampoos will be there. Okay, any kind of daily use items will be there. So let's say in your store you are having daily, you are having, let's say, let's take an example of soap. So daily you are having a sales order, or daily you are selling 1000 units. Okay, so daily you are selling 1000 units, and your like from the manufacturing unit, someone will be manufacturing this product, right? So someone will be manufacturing this soap. So to manufacture a soap, they will take 5 days. Okay, for shipping, again they will be having 2 days. So whenever your requirement will generate, okay, so whenever your requirement will be generate, you will be need to ask the manufacturer before 7 days that we need the product, right? So let's say in your store you are having, let's say, 10,000 product. Okay, okay, you are having 10,000 soaps. Okay, so daily you are consuming 1000 units. So after 3 days your stock will be 7,000, right? 7,000. So after 3 days your stock will be 7,000, and daily how much you are consuming? 1000 units. So in 7 days your stock will be empty, your stock will be over, right? So now, before, like, if you order your product at the time, let's say at the end of whenever you are having only 1000 items, then you are ordering to the plant or to the manufacturing unit, they will, like, they will send the material after 5 days, right? So now you will be having a shortfall of the quantity. Understood? So now you will be having the shortfall of the quantity. So now what will happen, like, before 7 days only, so whenever you are having the stock limit of 7,000, at that time you need to send a, let's say, one purchase order to your manufacturing unit that we need the product. Okay, so they will be sending the product in 7 days. So at the time of when you are having some 1000 or 2000 stock, you will be receiving your material, then your flow will be continuous, right? You will be not having, like, let's say, you'll be not having any shortfalls over there. Okay, so this is basically, if we understand the process. So normally what happens, so let's say in your store what will happen, so whenever you are going to the, why I have explained you all these things, because we are discussing this as a trading plant, so we are procuring the material for a stock purpose, right? We are stocking the material, we are making this stock, and we are selling it. Okay, so that's why I have explained you these much of things. So let's take an example, whenever your stock limit will come to 7,000 or 10,000 only, at that point of time you have a requirement to be generated automatically. Okay, so whenever your stock limit touches 10,000 or 7,000, as per your configuration, one purchase requisition will be generated automatically. Understood? Understood, or any doubt?
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay, so this is another example of trading plant. So basically, likewise, in our plant, how many department we will be having, for each and every department, whenever there will be some requirement will be generating from them, they will create a PR, or one PR will be generated automatically to the purchasing department. After that, we will be processing that PR to the various stages or to different stages. Okay, so I believe the PR part is understood by all of you, right? So next, let's go to the P2P cycle. Okay, now the PR is generated. Now here the first process PR is generated. So once the PR is generated, what we need to do, we need to send it to the vendor, right? We need to have one supplier or some vendor. Then we have to create a purchase order for them. Like we need this material, we need to provide one purchase order. So let's say first condition, you you are just starting your project or you are just starting your business, so you don't know about the market vendors, who are the vendors they are providing the material, or who are the vendors are there, what is the material are there, what is the prices are there, what is the conditions are there, you are not aware of that. Okay, so in that condition what will happen, first you need to search for the different types of vendor. Okay, first you have to find who are the different types of vendor they are providing your material. Okay, so now what will happen, you will ask for quotation to the vendor. So let's say you will be having 3 to 4 vendors or 5 vendors or 10 vendors, as many you like, you can have the different kind of vendors. Okay, so for those vendors you have to ask a quotation price to all of the vendors. So that process is called RFQ, means request for quotation. So once the PR is generated, like you are having one requirement. Okay, so you are having one requirement. So in that requirement, whenever you are having that requirement, then if you don't know the vendor, who is the perfect vendor whom you should send the purchase order, then what you need to do, you need to ask for a quotation. So you need to create a quotation, you need to send it to the different, let's say different vendors will be there. Let's say vendor 1, vendor 2, vendor 3. Let's say 3 vendors are there. So now you will be asking the price for the material, raw material you need to the different vendors. Let's say you have sent the quotation, sorry, you have sent the request for quotation. Now your vendor has replied back with the price. So now what you need to do, you need to enter the quotation price in the system. So that is called a quotation. Okay, quotation maintain, or we call it a quotation process. So whenever your vendor is sending you the details like prices, whatever the like delivery time will be there, and how much time they will be sending the material, what is the minimum requirement of the like order, everything they will provide you in the, let's say in the quotation. So that quotation you need to maintain in the system. So now once you have the all the prices or all the details from all the 3 vendors, now what we need to do, you need to compare these 3 vendors. Let's say on a price basis you are comparing these 3 vendors. Let's say you are needing one let's say raw material of what do you say, let's say you are manufacturing a pen. Okay, so for manufacturing a pen you need some outer body. Okay, so to manufacture a outer body you need some plastic material, right? So you are asking for the plastic material price. So let's say your vendor 1 is saying we will be giving you at the 10 rupees per kg, and the second vendor is saying we will be providing you 9 rupees per kg, and third vendor is saying we will be providing you 12 rupees per kg. Okay, so now you can see the vendor 2 is suitable because he is providing the material at the least price. Now you will compare the 3 prices and you will be selecting this vendor on the price basis, right? So now you have selected the 2 vendors, right? So you have the vendor, you found the vendor. So that's why we call it as a vendor selection process also. Okay, so if anyone is asking you in the interview what is the vendor selection process, then you can say like from the RFQ to quotation comparison, that is called as a vendor selection. In those process we find our like which is the suitable vendor, we can find it from there, or we can select the vendor from these processes. Okay, so might be you will be getting some questions in the interview. So those kind of things you need to understand and you need to like make some note of it. Okay, what is the vendor selection process? Okay, so once the vendor has been selected, let's say here you have like material and vendor and price. Okay, now you have all the things like which material, which vendor, and at what price. Now you have all the things. Now what you can do, you can create a purchase order. So you have to create a purchase order with this vendor, this material, and this price. Okay, now you have to create a PO and you have to send it to your vendor. Okay, it will be sent to vendor. Now vendor, what will he do? Vendor will send you the materials, like he will send you the material. Okay, they will send you the material. Now once the material has come at your place or at your location, then what you need to do, you need to do the goods receipt. Now you have the material at your place, so you have to do the goods receipt. Okay, so now you have to do the goods receipt at your place. So once the goods receipt has been done, now what you need to do, you need to pay the bill, right? So at the time of goods receipt, then you have to do, once the goods receipt has been done, then you have to do the IR, means invoice receipt. Okay, invoice receipt. So in invoice receipt, normally what will happen, in invoice they will be providing like the all of the components. Let's say whatever the material price is, what is the delivery charges, if there is any GST is there, if there is any, let's say, taxes are there, so any kind of things are there, they will be adding all the things over there in the invoicing process, and they will send a invoice. So you have to enter that invoice in your system. Okay, so once you are entering that invoice in your system, our P2P cycle is completed. Now once your cycle has been completed, you have to pay the price to the vendor. Now this is a payment, but the payment is the part of a, let's say it is a part of your FICO consultant, sorry, FICO team only. So the payment part, it will be coming in the finance department. Okay, so our purchasing cycle is, or P2P cycle is from PR to IR. Okay, understood this process? Understood this process, or any doubt?
Yes, sir. PR, PO, GR, and then IR.
Yes, right. So this is the P2P cycle. And again, this is the same cycle for the stock transfer, like, sorry, for the stock procurement process. Okay, so next is, procurement of material for, next is procurement of material for stock purpose. So stock purpose means whatever we have seen in the, like, trading plant, we have seen the discussion, right? So we have discussed, we are procuring the material for stock purpose, means we will be keeping it as a stock, and whenever we need, we will be, like, issuing the goods, or we will be consuming it from the stock. Okay, so that is called a procurement of material from, for stock purpose. So normally the trading materials or for the raw materials, we do it, like we procure it as a stock. Okay, so let's say this is the same process again. Once you are getting the PR, then you will be creating a RFQ. If the vendor is not known, then you will be going for a RFQ, then quotation, then price comparison, then you will be providing the PO. Okay, and if the vendor is known, like you know the vendor, who is the vendor whom you are going to send the purchase order, then directly you can convert the PR to PO directly. Okay, then again with the PO, once the PO is sent, after that the vendor will send you the material, then you will be receiving the material and doing the goods receipt, and again you will be doing the invoice receipt. After the goods receipt, you have to perform the goods receipt. Okay, understood this process? Means normally normal P2P cycle and procurement of stock purpose, it is the same process, it is the same flow. Okay, we will be working in the same flow for purchase, like it is a standard P2P cycle only. Whenever we are procuring material for stock purpose, it is a standard P2P cycle. Okay, understood? Okay.
Yeah, okay, sir. Okay.
Okay. So next, let's go to the next process. So here, let's say procurement of material for direct consumption. So this process, or this is a actually this is a process flow. Okay, you need to write it down, this process flow. What is the process flow for direct consumption? What is the process flow for, like let's say stock material? What is the process flow for all the business process? You need to understand the business flow or process flow. Then whenever we are going to the SAP system and we are looking into the process, you will be understanding the process, how the flow is going around, and what you do, what you need to check, or how you need to, if you are going for a support project, how you need to analyze, or how you need to go to check, like what are the relevant documents are there, where you can find out the relevant fields or relevant information, where you can find it. So normally you have to check like that. Okay, so in the direct consumption process, as I mentioned you, it is the similar process of a stock procurement process only. But at the time of GR, what you need to do, directly you have to send the material to the department. Okay, so whenever you are having this direct consumption material at the time of GR, you don't have to move this to your stock, or you don't have to move this to your store. Directly you have to send this material direct to your department or concerned department. Directly you will send it to them. Okay, understood? Okay, so we will be ending the class for today on this position. Okay, on this part we will be ending this class. We will be connecting again on tomorrow, because I believe if I explain you all the process, that will be very much confusing. Okay, so just understand till this now. Okay, make a note, like I'll be sharing you the class video, so go through the video again. If you are having any doubts, you can go through the video. And you have to write down, like whenever we are taking a class, just be online with a pen and paper. Okay, a note and a pen. So write it down, the processes or whatever we are explaining, just write it down, so it will be better for you, like for your future reference, and for also like for your understanding purpose, and for your your study purpose. It will be helping you if you are write it down directly, you are writing it down, so that will helping you. Okay, so we are ending the session for today. We'll be again meet on tomorrow on the same time, 7 p.m. tomorrow. Okay.